Good morning. Um, I haven't had much luck with the swing trading yet for some reason. It just seems like I've picked a couple of good turns, but um, I don't know. It doesn't match my personality or something. Um, I don't like having to wait days for something that closes at break even or even at a loss or for a small profit. It just seems a little ridiculous. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go back to um, trading within the session, and but I'm going to stick to a slightly higher time frame, the 15 instead of like the 5 or something. Um, as you can see here, well, let's see. Another issue that I've got is that I'm jumping all over the place on the pairs, and I feel like I'll probably do better if I just focus on a single pair. Um, there's plenty of movement every day to capture on each one of these pairs. So this is a guppy, pound yen cross, 15 minutes. You can see I've got the, oh, I need to recolor this. 2050 and 220. I don't know if the 220 matters on this thing, but let me go ahead and hide that. 20 and 50, that's fine. I've also got a custom indicator on here that I wrote. Um, it's not that complicated. It involves whether or not a bar closes beyond other bars and whether it closes on the higher the low of itself. It's not great, but it does catch a lot of the moves. So I'm going to use that as well as another sort of entry reason. Um, but I mean, similar bars are similar bars. Like last night, I took this particular short on this bar anyway and sort of rode it down for a few pips on a scalp and took it out. You can see the entry would have been here on this with this indicator, but I looked at this and I was like, wow, this has got a little ways further. There's a lot of discretion involved in trading, even with indicators, obviously. Um, but so like this doesn't really close beyond any of the recent bars. It's inside of the rest of them. So I'm going to ignore something like this. Whereas this is kind of ideal. This is also, well, not really, because it's going to closing right at the bottom of this range. So I might ignore this one. But this one here, I might have taken this one just because you can see it's actually closing beyond all of these other bars, and there's just all this dead air here. So that gives it a lot of room. So anyway, so I'm going to be messing around with this. So I think the format will change a little bit. I'll probably um, start showing the executions on here and start maybe at the end of the day I'll go back and review what I did and look at all the mistakes I made and what I could have done better, and maybe try to do it in that format. I know nobody's watching these, that's fine. This is more for my own education. Um, I need to get better at it. One of the things that I've learned is that from reading and studying like Brooks and some of the stuff that Hogard said and whatnot, is that it appears that almost everybody that ever got good at this type of trading, trading like during the day or during the session or something, that pretty much all of them do that they go back and they look at the charts at the end of the day and review what they did and what they could have done better and what they, you know, uh, basically not just reviewing their trades, but reviewing the chart itself and seeing, okay, what did I miss here? I think there's something to that. I think that just getting the chart time isn't enough. I think that actually going back and looking at what you actually did and what you could have done better is a big part of the improvement process as well. So I'm going to be doing that, and we'll see how that works out. Let's see. Also, getting to know one pair. Well, there's a lot of triangles on there. Getting to know one pair is um, is definitely different, and you can see, this has gone through long periods of really slow channeling. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. It could become really predictable at times and really unpredictable at times, and I think I'm going to have to learn how this works. We'll see. So like this may very well be another one of these slow channels. So it might be actually cheap down here. It might be time to be looking for longs. But like I said, I'm gonna wait for some of the more traditional signals, like bars closing beyond other bars, or uh, like with this is kind of a slow correction from this spike, and then this is the first bar that's higher than the previous bar, and so maybe the second one might be a good entry, especially if it's sort of rebounding off of this range base here. But who knows? So we'll see what that happened, how that goes. So I'm not gonna go for these 500 pip moves or anything. I'm still developing a strategy for swing trading, and I may still play with it. One of them involves this idea that the the direction of structure seems to be a lot more important on a higher time frame, like the 1 hour or the 4 hour. That it seems to care a lot more. When you break a higher, you break a low or something for the first time, that it seems to mean something a lot more than it does on the lower time frame. So that may be something where I could come up with some, like a really simple set of rules or something to follow. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm not sure I really like the swing trading stuff as much. So I've played with the 5 minute before, and the 5 minute seems to be just too wild. And in forex, especially, I think with the spreads being the way they are, that it's not a great idea to try to use a much lower time frame than this. So we'll see how this goes. And with this extra indicator on there, hopefully I won't miss any of the big moves during the sessions. But we'll see how that works out. Thanks. Bye.